Greetings, Missouri Mid-South Conference. I bring you greetings from my office this morning, but actually what I really wanted to do was bring you greetings from my little car because I have been traveling a lot in different places and I wanted to share my space with you. I've especially been traveling in two specific places that I wanted to make sure that I got to very early on in our ministry together. And that is, I wanted to go to MoVal camp and visit with Jeremy Forrest, who is the executive director of Camp MoVal. But also, I wanted to visit Shannondale Community Center and Shannondale UCC Church, where Jeff Fulk is the executive director of Shannondale and also the pastor of Shannondale UCC Church. In both of those places, I have been amazed at the heritage and legacy of these camps, at the vision of the United Church of Christ and the Missouri Mid-South Conference in those specific times when the pastors in churches knew and sensed from God that God was calling them to provide space where people, not only in the United Church of Christ, but people throughout the community could worship and fellowship, swim, and learn together about God's love. I want to share with you that Camp MoVal is doing very well. They are preparing for the wonderful summer series and camps with their counselors and with their curriculum. I know that Jeremy has also been talking with the Western Association in trying to develop some things that they do at Camp MoVal that could be sent and created in other areas, kind of a mobile Camp MoVal, if you will. And I know that the Western Association has been in conversation with MoVal and with Jeremy as well. Yesterday, I went and traveled to Shannondale, and I met with Jeff, and he showed me all of the campsite and actually the property, but not only the property, but the springs that are nearby and the river and the lodges, the cabins that are in that area. I have to say that I'm really impressed with the work that and the ministry that has been done there from long ago when the founders really sensed that there was an economic gap for the people in the Ozarks, the southern Ozarks of southern Missouri, and purchasing this land and then developing it so that, number one, the neighbors could have an extra sense of economic stability, but number two, that the community itself could have a place where they could come together. Jeff was telling me that when neighbors have medical issues, that because many of them do not have insurance, that will typically wipe out any savings that they had and any thing that they have in financial resources. And so what the community does is that they have this pie night, and everybody comes to Timber Lodge, which is at Shannondale, and they bring pies, and then they auction them off, and all of the money goes to that person or that family who are in the process of trying to pay their medical bills. This is God's beloved community at its core and at its beauty. And I appreciate Jeff for being their pastor, whether they call him pastor and come every Sunday morning, or whether they call him in emergency situations to make sure that they have a presence of God's love with them in family crises. I also want to celebrate something that we have been working on in the conference for about 5 years, coming from Jeff and the previous conference minister and working with the conference attorney and the conference council, and that is this understanding of carbon credits. Now, I will be the first to say that I don't quite understand all of the details, but here's the basic gist of it. That because Shannondale has timber, and because it is a natural resource land that has not and will not be used or developed in any way, that in this understanding of carbon credits, that corporations in other places can purchase carbon credits in order to meet the requirements for corporations in trying to be more environmentally friendly and ecological. And so what Shannondale has established with the state of California, they have a bill that allows for this, and so we've been working with the state of California so that the land of Shannondale is used and corporations can purchase carbon credits. This is really exciting for a number of reasons. It is rather outside of the box that a lot of our UCC organizations, especially our camps and our outdoor ministries, don't have something like this in place. It has a lot of potential for us, and we are continuing to seek to move towards an environmentally friendly, beloved community. The piece that I want to talk about for a moment is that the temptation whenever we receive money, whether it's at Shannondale with the carbon credits or whether it's someone in our local church who has bequeathed some of their money in a will, is that when we hear of an endowment fund being set up or we hear of carbon credits, there is this temptation to think, oh, they're not going to need my money. They're not going to need anything financially from me. They're not going to need my support. And I want to say that both for Shannondale as well as our local churches, that is just not true. That yes, we have the carbon credits, and yes, some of our churches are blessed with endowments from those who loved the church in their life and now love the church in their death. But at the same time, there's a spiritual discipline that happens that we need to be a part of in giving our financial resources to the things and the ministries that God calls us to. So I would say in terms of Shannondale and MoVal, they certainly do need church and conference support in terms of your financial investment in the ministries that happen at MoVal and the ministries that happen at Shannondale. The same can be said for your local church. Just because you have an endowment doesn't mean that the church expects you to sit back and not give and not invest spiritually and financially in the local church. The church needs you to invest your time, your talents, and your money so that we can continue not only to be the church that God created us to be, but that we can live out the generosity of vision, of resources, of money, and of God's love. This is what started these wonderful camps many, many years ago, and this is what will continue in the many years to come, is your and my financial generosity to these camps, to our local churches, to the Missouri Mid-South Conference. And so, my brothers and sisters, I give you greetings, and I hope that you and I will together be financially generous to our camps, our conference, and our local churches, that we use it as a spiritual discipline for all that we are and do and love. In the name of the Holy One that gives us vision in wonderfully creative ways, I give you peace. Have a wonderful day.